This stuff with Jalen Hurts, man. People keep saying, Sills, why are you down on him? Down on him? I'm down on the coach. Here, know this. I'm down on the coach, and I'm down on the GM. I'm really not down on Jalen's the third guy in my room. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what, how Sirianni, this is probably like, right? This is like before the press conference today when Bob Marley joins. I'm a flower. Jesus criminy, man. I don't even know. Hey, really, I'm afraid to go anywhere with it. I might insult somebody. Mainly the city of Philly. You got a head coach standing in front of the microphone telling him that your head coach is a flower. and your team sucks. Okay? Monkey Mind says this. We lost last week after a good first drive when Sirianni accepted the penalty and kept our defense on the field. Demoralized everyone on the defensive side of the football. Amen, dude. Amen. Smile. 95 NFC wildcard game. Lomas Brown guaranteed victory. Ray Rhodes steamrolled and Lomas mistake touched the Lions offense. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Hey, one of the really great guys, though. You're really going to enjoy Lomas Brown. I really love Lomas, one of the good people, man. So, do you think the owner ever comes to his senses that this guy's not the guy? He had to fire his boy, Joe Banner, at one time. You got to think at the end of this year, the owner has to be – does he have anybody that he confides in except for Howie? He's got to have people in his realm and in his arena that say this to him. Dude, you need somebody else making these selections. If they make the wrong picks next April, I think the draft is either April 28th or 29th. If they make the wrong picks, they'll set this franchise back 10 years. And get this, if Carson Wentz goes on to the Pro Bowl this year, you would have set this franchise back 15 years. You had the guy and you let him go. God forbid he turned, and you're right about one thing. They are 3-4, but he is coming off an injury. I'll tell you this. I text Frank. You know what Frank told me today? And I tweeted it. Frank said he is completely a different guy than he was a year ago. He enjoys showing up to work. He enjoys the fact that people are working with him. He loves his teammates. Nobody's giving him any kind of grief. And get this, he enjoys what he's doing right now. And Frank said this, he's getting better and better, man. He looks better than he did when he was in Philadelphia, when Frank was the OC, and they went through that Super Bowl run. That's a scary thing. If you're the owner and GM of the Eagles, you knew Wentz could potentially do this in the back of your mind, didn't you? Didn't you know that this could be a possibility? Here's the worst nightmare. What if you see the guy in New York get fired, Joe Judge, and the people in New York, the Myers and the Tishes all do this? Well, it couldn't have been a healthy environment in Philadelphia because look at Wentz. Wentz a Pro Bowler. Why don't we offer the job to Doug Peterson? What would Doug Peterson do in New York? Okay? And then he convinces Aaron Rodgers to go play in New York with Saquon Barkley. The Giants, when you have Aaron Rodgers, or how about this one? How about if Russell Wilson wants to go to New York? His wife is Sierra. Doug Peterson is going to attract a big-name quarterback wherever he lands. San Francisco, Chicago, anywhere he goes, he's going to look at the room. I need a big-time guy in here. People are saying Aaron Rodgers will probably go to Pittsburgh. Really? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers likes the Hollywood thing. He may go to New York. And don't you think, just like the Red said, don't you think Doug Peterson would love to kick the living shit out of the Eagles twice a year? as you sit around tripping over yourself over draft choices of failure. You don't think Doug's going to come for you, man? You don't think he wants a job in the NFC East? I would. Doug was probably telling ownership, you're wrong on Wentz. You're wrong on Wentz. Remember when he kept defending him the whole time? You're wrong on Wentz. You're wrong on Wentz. Nope. Because the owner was paying him so much money, the owner didn't have the patience to let the kid go through his ups and downs. Troy Aikman went through ups and downs. All these great quarterbacks have gone through ups and downs. And you can't use Brady because he's an outlier. Everybody of any kind of context has had some type of issue where they've had lulls in their careers. But yet, the Eagles, because they didn't want to keep spending the money. You know, I give this to Jerry. The difference between Jerry and the owner of the Eagles, Jerry will overpay for his guys. Okay? He'll overpay. And he'll overpay and gladly overpay. He'll overvalue, but at least he pays his guys. And he has patience with his guys. Look at how many guys are on that team still that don't need to be. Zeke Elliott makes $17 million a year. Way overpaid. But Jerry still pays him because he's been loyal to him and the player's been loyal to the owner. But in Philadelphia, they don't have the patience. That's the problem that you have here. So when does he have that come to Jesus conversation? I'm not sure he will. If Howie Roseman makes those picks in 2022, I have no faith that that guy will turn this thing around. I have zero faith. Zero. You know what's funny? I'll tell you guys a story real quick here. I used to be on the flagship station of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in my days in Tampa. I was there 15 years. I know. Some would think, Sileo, was there 15? Yeah, I was there 15 years. Number 1 rated show in the mornings in Tampa. And it was the flagship. And I kept telling people after, I had Mark Dominic as their GM. This is not going anywhere. They refused to start putting Buccaneer guys on my radio show. They stopped putting them on. And I didn't need them because I would tell the truth. And all the fans came here because I was telling them the truth. And I'm a former Buccaneer. So this didn't come from a place of malice. I wasn't trying to get up every morning and go, hey, let's see if I could piss this guy off, or let's see if I could piss that guy off. That's not what I was trying to do, okay? I was trying to make sure that everybody understood the direction of the football team. They were missing on draft choices under Mark Dominic. Take a look at all of his draft choices. When you don't have anybody on the football team from a couple years ago, on a 3-year draft a couple years back, and you have but one guy on your team, that's a missed draft. And when you haven't drafted really anybody in the last 5 years of any kind of substance, there's a problem with the guys selecting. Okay? There's a problem here. And there's no doubt. By the way, do I think it gets fixed? It's 50-50 here. This stuff with Jalen Hurts, man. People keep saying, Sills, why are you down on him? Down on him? I'm down on the coach. Here, know this. I'm down on the coach, and I'm down on the GM. I'm really not down on Jalen's the third guy in my room. If I had to put blame on somebody who I'm more what's this? Somebody that I'm more disappointed with for the Philadelphia Eagles season of 2021, it's Howie Roseman. And second, it's Nick Sirianni. Third, it's Jalen. Fourth, it's Jonathan Gannon. Those would be my 4 disappointments so far as we enter the halfway mark of the season. Hey, take a look at it. There's your halfway grade. Your halfway grade of the Philadelphia Eagles is a D. At best. Now, wait a minute. No way. It's an F. It's an F. You're 2-5. Let's be real here. You're 2-5. Your grade is F. Halfway through the season. How many years have you said this? Halfway through the season, The 2021 year is over. Hell, it was over a week ago. Man, these names. And now you get this. Now you get Fletcher Cox barking at the defensive coaches. Right? Now you get coaches barking back at the players. Where's this going? Where in the world is this going? So, I mean, look, and hey, through all the chaos, here's something to think about with other organizations are going through. Look at the chaos in Las Vegas right now with the Raiders. They're winning. Look at the chaos in Miami. I got to tell you this about Tua. Tua's playing pretty good through all the chaos. You know what? I'm one of those guys that always does this. Look, do I think Tua Tagovailoa is a quarterback that I would want to hitch my ride to and say he's my franchise quarterback? No, he wouldn't be. Okay? But I'd say this to you. You've got to be fair here in the evaluation of what you're watching. You know how some of the old fart radio guys and TV guys, what they'll do is they'll try to make sure they slam their narrative through? Tua's playing better, man. And I would say over the last 3 weeks, Tua's probably played his 3 best football games as a professional. Eric, thanks for coming aboard. Joe, who wanted Jalen in the second round? I couldn't believe they traded up to get him, too. Hey, Joe, can you give me a little bit of history of Tom Donahue's influence? Tom Donahue, you talking the former Pittsburgh Steelers general manager? Who was the guy before Kevin Colbert? Are you talking that Tom Donahue? Was he in the room there with that too? Dion says front office failed Wentz and inspired fans to go after him. They did. Because you know why? Howie's not taking the blame. You think Howie's going to take the blame? That's why they fired the coach. They threw Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz under the bus how about this? To try to protect their own mortality and their own resume. That's why they threw those guys under the bus. Their legacy, okay? Their legacy's tied to them firing and trading Wentz. See, it was us, not them. That's what they did here. Joe, thanks. So he's a pretty good talent evaluator. But again, I think it just comes down to Howie not leaning on those guys that he brings in. Because he was part of that whole Steelers stuff under Cowher and also a little bit with Chuck Noll. So he can evaluate. But again, I just don't believe that Howie – I think Howie takes it in. But I think Howie also – because when you put these names on the board, I don't ever remember the Steelers ever failing in a draft when Neil Donahue was in there. I mean, I don't ever remember John Dorsey failing when John Dorsey was building a football team with names like this. I mean, these names are awful, man. These names are awful. So where are you going here with this stuff? It's remarkable. You could thank Chip for all this chaos. Howie hasn't forgotten. Yeah, 2015 is the only time that Howie was not the general manager of the team. So Howie's going to lean on the fact he wasn't the general manager in 15. He was in 17. So he gets credit for the Super Bowl so he can absolutely fuck it up the next couple of years. These picks stink, dude. Man. Fortune 500 companies don't keep this kind of resume around. All right. We're still efforting our friend, Lomas Brown. We're going to try to get a hold of our friend here, part of the broadcast team for the Detroit Lions. We come back out of the timeout. I got to tell you this, man. There's no question. Some really significant games. I think Jim Harbaugh has a big game this weekend as well. I want to talk Michigan State as well. A little more on Mike Tomlin. Would Mike Tomlin ever leave Pittsburgh to go somewhere else in the NFL? Not college, but somewhere else in the NFL. And what's next for the Eagles? Eagles-Lions, we'll hit on that as well. You keep it here on the National Football Show.